Have you ever wondered if you're in the upper, middle, or lower class? Like, what are the income thresholds? What does it take to get out of the lower class into the middle class? And then what does it take to break out of the middle class and get into the upper class? Well, I found an article on the internet that talks a little bit about the income thresholds based on research that has been done. So if you're interested in learning what those thresholds are, and then my thoughts about how to maybe move more rapidly through those particular classes, then stay tuned. Watch this video, and I think you're going to get something out of it. So my name is Cluff. I'm a financial coach. I love helping people manage, protect, and grow their money. If you want to learn how to manage, protect, and grow your money to get your MBA, which is not the MBA you're thinking about. The MBA I'm talking about is to get your massive bank account. MBA, massive bank account. So if you want to get a massive bank account, make sure you hit like and subscribe and stay tuned to this channel so we can grow that massive bank account together.
All right, so this article comes from MoneyWise. I found this as an alert. I have a couple alerts out there that I think about different money topics. And this question asks here, do I fall in America's lower, middle, or upper class? And a lot of times we think that we're middle class, lower class, we're upper class. Well, apparently there's some actual numbers that have come out recently to determine whether or not what income thresholds are upper, middle, and lower. So the reality is that these numbers might share with you what the scientists think is upper, middle, or lower. However, depending on where you are in the cost of living, you might not feel like you're upper or middle. You might feel like you're in a different category here. But in America, anyways, the idea is that there's an upper, middle, and lower class. And the idea is also that middle class is kind of where the majority of people are and or should be, and maybe they're moving up towards that upper class. So let's take a look and see what the numbers show. Here is the upper class. According to Pew, based on Pew's analysis, and whoever that is, you need to have an income. A family of three, says here, a household of three needs to have $156,000 a year to meet the definition of upper class. So that's kind of cool. Do you make 156,000 or more? If you do, and you have three or less people in your household, then you would be considered upper class according to the numbers here. What's also interesting here is that the median net worth, is it right here? Median net worth of the top 20% increased by 13%. Now, I want to let you know that net worth is probably one of the most important things to track. It's your financial report card. I did a video on it. Matter of fact, the last video I did was about my personal surprise in some of the things that I found out as I tracked my net worth, like how much it really grew. And I was pretty excited to see that. So I'm going to put a little, I'll put a, card up here for you to watch that. And the other thing here down, let's take a look at middle class though. So clearly it's at 56,000 or less, but where's the threshold? The bottom floor of the middle class is 52,000. So according to the same kind of income calculators, the 52,000 is the floor for the middle class, 156,000 is the top. And I think this is also based on a household of three. So if your household is more than three, you might need to make more money to consider yourself upper class because your costs are higher. And so here we go. According to this right here, the median income rose by 41% to 70,800 in 2000, or just recently. And so one of the things I'm concerned about is that that's great that income is rising, but it's not really tracking how much expenses are rising. And if expenses are rising more than that or faster than that, your income is, I mean, it's great that income is rising, but if expenses are rising faster, it does you no good. So middle income, middle America is really feeling the crunch right now. And I agree. I totally agree. There's things that you can do to really make sure that you're increasing your positive cash flow and you're working towards your massive bank account, your MBA. And so we're going to talk about that in a minute, but I just want to get through this article here, kind of show some cool statistics. The lower class in America is $52,000 a year or less. And 38%, interestingly enough, 38% of households made less than $50,000 in 2021. That's not very much money. That's a lot of people in a very low income. And I think that one of the big things too to realize is that it also depends on where you live. So if you're in California or New York, you're not going to make it at 50,000. You're going to have 100, 200, 300, probably 1,000 to be an upper class in some of those areas. So I feel like this national average is fun. It's cool to kind of get an idea of what's really happening in the country. And, these scientists have these fun little statistics that they throw out. But how are you feeling? What do you feel like? When you look out at your finances and your income and your expenses, do you feel upper class? Do you hit the numbers based on the numbers that are in this article? Are you statistically hitting the numbers to be upper class, but yet you're feeling like with your cost of living and all of the expenses that you have, you're honestly more middle class? What are you feeling? Comment below whether you think you're upper, middle, or lower class, and what you might be experiencing out there in the world. So I hope that helps kind of give you an idea of what scientists or what the economists are saying is upper, middle, and lower class in America.
Well, the good news and the bad news is now you know what class you're in. You know, sometimes I, based on my income, based on the income thresholds there, I think that I'm in the upper class. But the problem is that the income is one thing, but the expenses are another. And that's something I touched on. But the reality is that with inflation, everything's going on in the economy, we're really seeing some expenses increase faster, I think, than income does. So a lot of times people are, you might say, you look at your income, you're like, oh, wow, I'm upper class, apparently. You don't feel like it though, because you're in this situation where you're like, wait a minute, I have all this money. I'm in a high cost of living area. I'm spending all this money every month, and I don't have that much money left over, if any. And I want to learn how to create wealth. I want to build wealth. I want to grow from here. If you want to grow from where you are, if you were lower class, you want to grow to middle. If you're middle, you want to go to upper. If you're upper and you want to go higher, or if you don't care about any of that, you just want to have enough wealth that you don't have to worry about a lot of the things that are happening in the world, a lot of stressors. You want to be able to have enough money, enough of a buffer zone that if anything happens to you, you can take care of any emergency. If you decide or need to maybe make a career change, you can do that without having to worry. If you want to have or lower the worry and the stress in your life, maybe you don't care about what upper, middle, or lower you're in. You just want to have less stress. Well, if you want to have less stress, the biggest thing that I found is there's a formula. If you want to have a massive bank account, if you want to have your MBA, then you've got to learn how to save and invest money. Well, how do you save and invest money if you're in debt? So you got to get out of debt, or at least be on track to being out of debt. So there's a process and then to get out of debt, what do you have to do? Well, you have to have a savings account such that you don't go back into debt. And so building an emergency fund, building sinking funds where you're saving up for things before you buy them. That way you're not spending money today that you're supposed to be earning tomorrow. Like you're not buying things today on credit that you're hoping to pay back tomorrow. Don't buy things today with tomorrow's money. Well, in order to do that, you got to have a good handle and discipline on your spending. You've got to be making money as well. You got to have an income. So to get a massive bank account way over here, it starts with having an income. And then it starts with disciplining your spending so that you're making more money than you're spending. And if you can get to that point, then you can start to save and build a buffer zone. You can start to save money first and then buy things. That way you don't go back into debt. You can start paying off the debts that you've had in your past. You can start making the change and the shift from buying things on credit to buying things on savings. And then when you start paying down your credit cards and you get out of debt, you can definitely start to have more free cash flow to build up your savings accounts, your investment accounts. You can start building that business you want to make more income so that you can feed those investments with even more money. You can start doing the things that you need to do to really build and grow your net worth and build towards that massive bank account. If you want to know the first step to building a massive bank account, which is that whole idea at the very beginning here of knowing how much money you're making, how much money you're spending, and getting disciplined around the spending and expenses, then you want to download my free guide. There's a link in the description below. Or if you prefer to send me a text message, text the word cash for cash flow to 385-275-5600. That's 385-275-5600. It's a free guide to give you a 3-step process that I've used to help hundreds of clients. As every time somebody goes through that, they'll share with me that they saved hundreds of dollars per month, not just one time, but this is a monthly deal where they're saving money. I was just talking to one of my clients yesterday, and he said, I remember doing that, and I saved like $600 a month. And I was like, that is awesome. So I don't know what you're going to save. I hope that you'll save hundreds of dollars a month. But the idea is that if you know how to free up some cash flow, you can start the process to get out of debt and build your financial freedom towards your massive bank account. Click the link in the description below. hit like and subscribe on your way down, because I hear that's the fastest way to grow a massive bank account around here. I hope you got a lot out of this video. Until the next one, make sure you're out there building your massive bank account.